What is going on, everybody? It's Jay Ball, Blue Jays Maple Syrup, and I'm trying to do a little bit of an experiment. Now, I've shown you guys in the past where there's not a lot of sugar in the ice crystals, or I should say the slush ice that you get in your buckets. But what was interesting this morning is I was walking on the road checking my barrels, and my neighbor actually was putting his ice that had frozen in his buckets, and he was putting it on the ground and getting rid of it, because the assumption is that there's not a lot of sugar in the ice. Well, this was some really thick ice, and you can see here in the bucket that this is mostly melted. So this is out of one of his 5-gallon buckets, and I want to do an experiment to see, okay, just how much sugar is actually in that thick, really frozen ice that was probably about, I would say, maybe a ½ inch thick. Because again, the slush ice that I pulled off the top of my barrels about a week or so ago, there wasn't a ton of sugar. It was like 0.2%. So what's interesting is we're going to actually measure this together right here. I haven't measured it yet. I've got my refractometer here, and we're going to check together to see how much sugar we're actually throwing away possibly. It might not be a lot. You know, if this has got less than 2 or 3% sugar in it, then it's worth throwing away. But if it's got 1 to 1.5, maybe even 2% sugar, it might be worth keeping. But I can tell you right now, just tasting it, it doesn't taste that sweet, so there might not be a ton of sugar. So let's use our refractometer and check together to see just how much sugar is in this water now. So let's get a good sample here. So I'm just going to take my dropper. I'll show you guys. I'm going to drop a few drops on here. Okay. And let's check and see just how much sugar is in here. So interesting enough, there's about 3/4 bricks of sugar. Let me try to show you this. If I can, I apologize, it might be a little shaky. But right there you can see that we've got less than 1% sugar. So really, we're not throwing away too much sugar, but it does prove that there is a little bit of sugar actually in that hard, thick ice in the barrel. So kind of an interesting experiment, I guess, if you're a small producer like myself that wants to throw the ice away. A lot of times I'll just put the ice in my pre-warm pan. It's not a big deal. I just let it sit there and thaw out. But this is good to know now. So we've got less than 1% of sugar in this water. It's probably worth throwing away. It's probably not worth boiling. So I guess we can confirm that throwing the ice out is kind of like a redneck RO. So appreciate you guys hanging out with me and watching this video. So I just want to show you guys this kind of stuff as I'm learning. I want you guys to learn as well, because I am not an expert by any stretch of the imagination when it comes to anything related to maple syrup. But I just wanted to show you guys what it's all about. So again, my name's Jay Ball with Blue Jays Maple Syrup, and I really appreciate you guys watching this, and hopefully you learned something as well as I did. So yeah, see you next time.